Okay, we have a question from SFO who asked, with all the different rigs to mount a DSLR, it seems like a separate monitor is absolutely required. What's a good recommendation, budget-wise?
I mean, my favorite monitor is the Marshall. And Steve, what's the new Marshall? Let me bring Steve in on this one. Marshall have just come out with a fairly new monitor that is very similar to these guys. Can you get a shot of this one over here? This is the slightly older model, and when we first started shooting on house, this is all that was available, I think. But there's a newer model that's, I think it's cheaper and better, right?
It is cheaper. I think it's about $500 cheaper, and it's got a dual HDMI, so you can go in and out to a director's feed, just like it was kind of took the place of the SDI. And the coolest thing about it is it does full frame. It actually up-res your picture, so you get the full frame. Like, it crops on these ones. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you don't actually get your full image. It spans your image across the whole screen, which makes it a lot easier to focus. But it still only captures the signal that's outputted from the camera, so it's only as good as what it is.
Great, thank you.
This was an interesting question from Nano Ritz. What are Gail's thoughts on using an iPad with wireless tethering for monitors?
Never done it, but could be interesting. I'd probably drop it and break it, but I've heard of people that do it, but I don't know. I believe in keeping things simple. The trouble is, because I work on a house and it's often 14-hour days, there's so much stuff that I can't keep up with in terms of new developments and so on and so forth. So I rely very heavily on, Steve, for example, to keep me informed. And that one I've never seen, so I really can't comment on that. I'm sorry. But it sounds interesting. Give it a shot. If it works for you, then great.
If all you're doing is just monitoring your picture and trying to see it, it'd probably work well. But other than that, that's an LED backlit, so that your colors are completely off. And it's a gloss screen, so your blacks are nowhere near being as real as they would.
Great, cool. Another question from Keothia, who's a regular here at Creative Live. He'd like to know, regarding longer lenses on glide cam and steady cams, if the long lens is one that has a tripod collar rather than mounting to the base of a camera, is the no longer than 65 guideline a little more flexible?
Sorry, I missed the first part of that. Was that the Steadicam?
Yeah, regarding longer lenses on a glide cam or a Steadicam, if the long lens is one that has a tripod collar rather than mounting to the base of the camera.
Yeah, it actually doesn't matter. It's just literally the physicality of trying to control a longer lens on a device that's basically designed to float. It's really difficult. Some operators can go 85, but it's really difficult. And it depends what kind of move it is. If you're chasing somebody down a corridor with an 85 or something, it's almost impossible to, the slightest gust of wind and the shot goes, the slight breeze just passing an open doorway, and it's all over. So, Steadicams are not really designed for that. That's when you start using dollies, when you go dollies and track, actually, because even a dolly on a regular floor on a 65 is pushing your luck, So it doesn't really matter collar or not. It's just kind of 65 to 85 is about as much as you could ever ask a Steadicam operator to do,
Thank you.
Cool.
I wasn't sure if we were ready to move forward or if we were taking more questions.
Not sure.
Okay.
We can get going. Are we all set up on black and white?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right. Basically, the idea of this is to have our two wonderful. Can you introduce yourselves to everybody?
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael.
My name's Brittany.
So, Michael and Brittany, welcome, and hopefully we won't kill you while you're here. We'll try and make this short and sweet as possible. Basically, the idea is just to let's try and capture some interesting footage. I'd love somebody to jump on the on the glide cam here, because this is an ideal subject, because there's a lot of movement for the glide cam. So, if we could have a volunteer from our that would be great. Now, put the focus on about 4 feet, something like that. And in this case, I would suggest going to 1250 to give ourselves a decent amount of stop. So you've got a bit more of a fighting chance. Or actually, go 640, maybe.
640, copy that.
Yeah. That's, what are we on the other one? 7, so that should be about 9. Okay, maybe, probably
about 3.
go to about a 24.
24.
Yeah.
Once we adjust the 24, we have to counterbalance again.
You're the guinea pig?
I am.
Okay.
Let me
Where
balance
were you set before?
it. 35.
I've never operated this before.
Yeah, that's a bit
Do you need
tight.
advice?
Right or left
Let me
handed?
balance it.
Right-handed.
Okay.
We're just
So
getting the
what I do
balance.
is I like to hold it
in the
my left hand,
meantime,
and I like to do all the controlling from my right hand because it just kind of like rolls through. When it comes back, I'll kind of show you. And like it's when you try to like have as much contact with your body, I kind of like leave my shoulders as like contact points, and then just kind of like when you like move into it, move your body, and as opposed to turning the steady cam. So kind of just like track like this. You don't really go like this because it just creates more movement.
Yeah.
okay, this one's going to be almost impossible. We need we'll come back to this one. We'll need a Marshall monitor. We're on an 85 with no focus device on this. That'll be an absolute
one too?
killer.
That's good.
Yeah, okay. So which one were we set up for? Were we set up for this one? Yeah, I think so. This is a nice angle. So we've got a Marshall monitor here. Let's have a volunteer to pull focus on this one too.
Kind of hold it.
So how? I know this is horrible. It's probably horrible as a dancer being limited to a certain area. But if you can work in this kind of zone here, that would be great. So let's have a volunteer for over here, and then what could be rather nice is kind of playing towards camera because she'll be rather nicely side lit. Can we get a bit more smoke happening? And we are incidentally shooting this in black and white just to give it a period kind of look, just for fun. Yeah, let's do that. And then, who can somebody volunteer to try focus on this one, just to try and pull focus?
Can somebody pull focus?
I'll do it.
So. So you got your foot scale on the top in green, and your it's there'll only be bits that work, but obviously when they come right into foreground, you want it to be somewhere around here. That's 3 feet,
Okay.
and just do your best to kind of go with them. So okay, all right, cool.
Want to mark it?
Well, we don't know where they're going to go, so it's just winging it. But just do the best you can to kind of yeah. Okay. Cool. All right.
You want me to follow them?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind following them, that would be cool. And just let's have lots of energy, and you can find them, you can come down, and sort of get some nice stuff going. And now this is not going to work. We need a focus device on this and a Marshall monitor, because there's no way in a million years. So let's just start with this one camera. Let's We'll start with that one camera, then we'll take a break from that. Can you just give us a rough idea of how it's going to work, how your dance moves work? I'm so bad with names. Can someone else do that?
Bring Michael.
Sometimes it's nice to go down to the feet and get some energy from that and come up and find them, because dance is all about movement,
Kind of go in with the glide cam,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
whatever you want.
Yeah, okay, so who's got the glide cam? Let's go, let's wheeze in for the glide cam and then just do the best you can. You're set on about, what's your focal distance here? I mean, your focus. About 3 feet, yeah, so just kind of try and play a 3 foot sort of distance, okay? I mean, just give it a, you guys aren't even rolling, are you?
No.
Okay, all right, let's,
Are there any particular areas I should stay in to stay out of the way of these guys? Are they shooting a particular?
okay, now you're rolling, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so give it lots of energy, give it movement, go up to their faces and... That's cool. Let's just cut there for a second. Okay, just cut for a second. Again, cut cameras. Were you rolling on that, Jason?
No.
Okay, let's sorry.
There's, it's too long for it. Yeah.
Okay, do we have any little apple boxes or anything we can just take a break off your feet for a second? Have we got any quarter apples or any wedges or? Oh boy. Yeah, that was really great, guys. Thank you. And we'll do a little bit more, and then we'll rotate, and then we'll project some of this stuff back. Actually, you know what? We could already take. Are we going to bother to download the card or just play the live card from the glide cam?
Nico, what would be easiest? We need the card here, and then we can. And then he could play it back in 10 seconds once we get the card.
Okay.
We can go higher and neither.
Can I get the card from you?
Yeah, but we need to.
There's no. It was,
Have we,
Oh, okay.
I've got to get some stuff to be able to raise this up. Oh, here we go. Yeah, let's. Can I grab those 2 bits of wood? Just giving us some foreground detail. Just those 2 bits of wood would be perfect. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Now, is that enough, Jason?
So this is what a DP does. Yes.
Probably not. No. Hang on. Just give me the full apple box. Help with that.
There's a full apple.
Yeah.
Not right now. I'm just playing around. Sure. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Let's just keep it really close to the lens so it's really obscure. Create a bit of depth.
Okay.
Gonna get the feed.
All right. Oh, no problem.
Now, we should be in black and white on this camera too. I mean, we decided to go monochrome just to kind of give it a period look, and why not? You know, it's different.
It's good with light.
Sorry?
I said it's good with the light. It worked out.
Yeah.
Gail, can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
From Katie2, since you have set the camera to shoot black and white, was there any tweaking or adjustments made in the camera settings?
We actually didn't. We just kept everything else the same. We just went to monochrome, but contrast and sharpness is all the same, basically.
Would you normally desaturate in post?
Sorry?
Would you normally desaturate the video in post, or would you normally shoot starting black and white? Because I think I'd want to keep
It's
some of that.
interesting. I'm not sure. I tend to like to commit because I hate sort of people that are wishy-washy and sort of say, oh, well, you know, maybe it's too much. I like to really be committed to it because you light very differently in black and white because you need more separation. You know, you don't have color separation to help you. So you need tonal separation to help you, you know, separate one object from another. And so it's kind of important to commit, really.
Okay.
Stephen, do you, is there a disadvantage or advantage in just going to monochrome sort of in post? Is there anything to be said for?
I mean, we would usually shoot it like on the CineStyle and then kind of do it in post, but because we were doing it right now, like we just
it's
wanted
just
to
instant,
create the look for the whole scene, and
right.
rather than have someone edit it all. We usually shoot it in CineStyle, but because like we're trying to create a look in camera right now and have it a bit like available, you know, immediately, it was just easier to do it in camera.
Okay, so let's go to 1250 on the ISO on this, because otherwise we will.
Yeah, this one's gonna be fun.
I know, I didn't even know how to get over there.
Here, Jason, you want to change this thing? Oh, guess not.
Okay, just 2 minutes and we'll be.
Jeff, would you want to take a question while Jason gets that set up?
Sure, absolutely.
So a question from Elvis Castillo, not Costello. How much of an effect does someone's follow focusing have in relation to the movement of the camera?
Well, a huge amount. I mean, you know, focus on the 5D, especially when you go on a longer lens or you're very wide open, is hugely difficult. So, you know, what we're going to see and what we're going to project shortly, we'll see just how difficult focus is, but it's the worst thing in the world for a focus puller when both the subject and the camera are moving together. If one's moving and the other's static, then it's one thing, but when they're both moving, it makes it really difficult, you know. So, I mean, the actual focus techniques that we used on how to pull off the season finale, we're going to demonstrate tomorrow. But for today, we're just having fun with the cameras, basically.
Cool. Can I ask another question, Gail?
Sure.
A question from One Blurry Lens. How much time goes into planning your shots in pre-production? Usually.
It depends how elaborate the scene is. Some scenes we know so very well. You know, for example, if it's a regular scene in a patient room, it would, you know, we wouldn't bother really pre-planning it. We'd just do it on the day. And it's always done initially with the actors rehearsing the scene and feeling where they would stand and what their actions would be. And obviously on a show like House, there's a lot of technical business to achieve. Nurses do certain things, doctors do certain things, so that predicts where they're going to stand around a bed, for example, if it's just a scene in a patient room or in an OR. You know, so if it's a more dramatic scene, or a scene that involves special effects, are often storyboarded, you know, down to every single frame, just depending upon the complexity of the scene, you know.
Of a little follow-up question to that, also from One Blurry Lens, is do you allow any time for setting up shots on the fly?
Directors often throw shots at me on the fly, but so I'm not allowed to. I don't know when they're coming. So we generally not. I mean, we tend to just be going through the scene and capturing the coverage. But very often, as the scene develops, you often see something really nice that you hadn't planned on shooting, and will often take a moment to just grab that, you know, something that's very special, you know. And that could be suggested by one of the camera operators or myself, or the director might see something, or Hugh Laurie might suggest something, you know. So it can come at you in a variety of ways, you know. Cool. How are we doing here?
Stand by.
Actually, I have a question for Gail. Could you maybe set the stage here a little bit and let us know what you're looking for, what you're seeing here, what you're wanting to get from the students?
Basically, what we're trying to do is to just basically put the cameras in the hands of the students, because I think that's when you start to really learn about, sort of how the cameras work. Not knowing all the students intimately, we don't know how many of them have had great experience at actually using the cameras with these sorts of lenses. So there's some nightmarish shots going on here in terms of putting focus on this guy. But it's basically just for us to have fun and then have a look at it and then see what we learn from it, and just basically starting to shoot, because I think as soon as you start handling the cameras, we'll have better ideas, and it's just like it's up to these guys to tell us, what they'd like to know, what could help them if they have an idea for a better shot. This was just what I put together, sort of, in 2 minutes. So if they'd rather try something else, if they'd rather be on the ground shooting something kind of up towards the ceiling, then that's great. It's all about creativity and getting involved in the process, and so. If we're shooting a dance number, that's the reason that most of the shots are tending to be low. That's kind of a fairly boring angle here, but keeping the shots low is going to be more exciting.
Right.
That kind of thing. So if anyone wants to grab a camera and shoot something, then that's great. But that's
That's excellent. And maybe let's take one student at a time to each camera, and they can kind of look at it and take a look through the lens and see what they like, what they don't like, before we move on to the second one, and then the second person can do it, and then we can roll the song again?
Yeah.
Would that work? So who wants to go next?
Okay. Cool. So.
One up here.
What's up?
Could you walk us through using this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have a
So basically, it's just your straightforward 5D. So we
So it's unplugged.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait.
There we go.
Okay. So
Monitor
now
unplugged?
we got our monitor and stuff like that. Do you guys want to know about like the peaking or false color?
Well,
or
I
something?
mean,
Yeah, what's false color? I haven't.
False color is this. So we go into our menu, we go into filter. So we gotta. So basically that's
Red's overexposed? Or?
No, that's basically your focus.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Right
okay.
there.
So what we're seeing in red is
Yeah.
what's in
In
focus.
Yeah.
Ah, very cool.
It basically what it does is it grabs onto your
awesome.
lines, so
Uh-huh.
it creates more contrast.
Right.
So, and then here, where's our little flipper? I think it's right here. So I mean, you can kind of.
And where is that?
Yeah, it's right. It's right here.
Okay.
It's just a little switch, and this basically adjusts the dampening, like the
Okay.
tolerance on it, so you can make it really smooth, or you can make it really fast and lurchy.
Okay.
So probably be about right there. So and you can kind
So
of
a
just
few
like track
technical
with them and
hitches,
kinda-
we will be there in a minute.
And then this one over here. This is the false color. This is telling your exposure, but we don't have an exposure chart on it. So usually we have one that's written right here,
Right.
and it'll give you like all your
Line count is
IRE
terribly
numbers,
important.
and basically that's just a lineup of an exposure. So, but we'll just leave these off for a second.
Yeah, you take the entire weight on your left hand, and then this is just literally for
All good, and
guidance.
then you just kind of track them.
And it gets
And is this
tiring
the
after a while,
Cinestyle?
so-
This is actually a black and white profile that we just kind of built. We built in camera just so we could have the look immediately. Whereas we would have to send it out and someone would have to do it in post and then
Right.
put it. That would just it would just take too long for what we're doing. Just
Right.
we're kind of just playing around. So
And so we're at
Oh.
50 and
Yeah.
7.1 and 320.
Okay, so
can see the
is there any
grain, too.
reason why we shouldn't roll? So just this one's going to be very tricky focus-wise. So just do the best you can.
to kind of get it. So say if you wanted to kind of
That would
be
be
out of
great.
focus,
Yeah.
you could kind of just know that you're
Yeah.
tracking when your hand stops.
Okay.
So you kind of adjust your wrist to where
So what's
when this
comfortable,
stops,
So that's your.
and then you'll be right there. So that's one of the tricks with these ones. But
Are you guys ready to go? We're gonna.
Yeah.
You know, keep the camera moving, so keep movement going, so don't lose them behind. Maybe you want to open the bottles up a little bit, and just so it's not.
Kale, I'm gonna put your. We're gonna put your. Oh, you are on.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I just put it back on.
So this is just a little bit bigger
There
than.
you go. Just open up the gaps a bit. And cool. Okay, so are we all good?
We're all good.
Okay. So is there anybody that's very unhappy? Now this one,
this is
let's
a
stop
higher
this one
resolution.
down a bit. I'm just going to stop you down a bit because you're on 1250 to give you a bit of a chance. Now can I just tip up to his face?
Right.
Just tip up to his face so you can. Yeah, that's good.
And you're cutting
That's
off
pretty
there.
nice. Cool. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're ready. So,
Do you want a
yeah,
little bit more fog, or are we good?
a little bit more fog would be great.
Make what red?
Is everybody ready? Just gonna move
Yeah, you
these
can do a
little
custom-
bit closer.
Crop. You should be able to change the color.
And then a bit more obscure. Okay.
Not that we use it.
And what do you set at, sweetie?
I'm at 50. Should I be at 30 or 150? Anything as
Yeah, no, you're good.
you want me.
That's great.
50.
And just your focus here. Yeah, you're set on about 3 feet, so you
Don't
can work
slam it
in
into
quite
my head
close.
by making a fast pan.
What are we doing with this?
Sorry?
What's this thing do?
I don't know what that one's set up for.
Looks nice.
Yeah. Okay, I think we are ready.
Alrighty. Kat, let's have you roll music, please.
Looks like it.
Okay, let's roll the cameras, yeah. And what happened here?
We lost signal when we hit record.
Okay. Let's just go with these cameras first. Oh, no, you're good, yeah. Yeah, if you can help with the focus a tiny bit, that would be great. It's tricky, I know. Let's have a little bit more smoke. Just keep the smoke at a constant level as much as you can, my love. Yeah, do some high energy stuff. Come up from their feet up to their faces and. Why don't you try another axis? Come from the wall towards the cameras as well.
Yeah, you can use whatever, man. No worries.
I think we're stepping on a cable.
This, it's gone again, James. Let's keep the smoke going. We're losing all the smoke.
Oh, yeah. I like that, man.
Yeah. hopefully you're getting some lovely stuff. Now let's everybody take a break. Could somebody grab the glide cam and do some closer stuff? Sorry, just yeah.
Instead of
Well done.
traveling and working it this way, make your body stable and track.
Somebody try the glide cam and do some much closer stuff. If you guys take a break for a few minutes, you're probably exhausted.
Love to use the glide cam.
But that was really sweet, by the way. We'll play you in an axis up and down this way, and we'll do this with the steady cam. We'll try and keep a 4-foot distance and get some energy going. We'll use the feet, we'll use the body, we'll use the faces. Have some fun with that, and that'd be a really nice intercut piece for all the other pieces that we've been shooting, and then we can have a look at it and then decide that we should all be dentists.
Do you want to talk to the different students now, or do you want to give another go and then?
Oh no, I think everyone should change it up a bit. Yeah. Have we solved this problem? This is a nightmare.
I don't know if you were there. So you kind of just right-handed.
So I'll probably hold it with my left hand.
Yeah. Are you right-handed though?
I'm a little bit of a.
Okay. So I like to track it because I'm right-handed. So I like to get all of my in for just kind of transfer through there. And I like to hold my
Don't have any
arms
Marshall
close
knee pads,
because
do
they're
we?
contact points on your body.
Yeah.
So you can kind of just and don't turn like that. Turn your body.
It's pretty much always in focus at 7.1.
Yeah. So like when you kind of roll through, you can kind of just like
When it,
yeah. And
what I
then
haven't
just
been able to
kinda
figure out is which
roll
way
up,
is.
Okay.
So it's really cool.
So
and
it's
then
kind of like just a couple fingers on the.
yeah, because you really want to take all the pressure off, So and just don't let it like kind of move. So but don't let it like so free flow to where it starts to like pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little happy medium balance,
It doesn't lie, does it?
And then when they're back here.
And
No,
he wants us close to him. So should I pre-focus?
it's already free focused.
Okay,
You're
so
about 3
4
feet.
3 feet will be
3
fine?
feet.
Okay.
So you can kind of hold this.
Oh, you do have to hold it.
You have to hold this because just kind of make sure all like and then just kind of like your stride, just kind of like.
All right.
There's a certain posture for it.
In front of some of these.
It's fine.
That's okay?
Yeah. Yeah, it'll sweep away from you.
So now, Steve, I noticed some people holding it and some people kind of going like that on it.
I kind of just hold my fingers on it just to kind of tap it into place.
Okay.
And then just and then I'll like use my pinky to tip it and my thumb to tip it back. Just because like it's a weird balance.
Yeah.
Ready to give another shot, or are you toasted?
No, it's really fun. I only hold where the tape is though, because when you do like this, it changes your whole body position. So it doesn't become efficient anymore because it's not made to go all the way over and under.
Right.
We'll allow the glide cam to have a bit of a free run. If we use an axis kind of backwards and forwards this way, we'll get some nice clean footage. Okay. And then just hold off on all these cameras. We'll just do specific glide cam stuff. Let's just make a little bit of space here, just for the moment. Let me just. Just so we've got a little bit of room so we can play, the whole of this. So if we play backwards and forwards this way and just really play the camera, we'll try and, is it set 4 feet, Steve? Okay, we'll try and keep it on. Let's have a bit more smoke. It's all gone away again. So try and keep, as best you can, a 4-foot thing. And don't worry about coming back here. I'll stop you tripping. Okay. So you can do energy, hands, feet. I mean, all of that stuff, And what's stop you on?
7.1.
7, great. Okay, that should be good. And you're 320, are you? 320, are you?
640.
640. That's right. That looks nice enough. Cool. Okay. All right, good. Okay, I think we're ready. So we're just going to concentrate just on the glide cam, and then we'll do that, and then maybe somebody else could jump on it, do one, and then we'll swing these 3 other cameras into action. Okay. So we all ready? Okay. Let's start the music, and off we go. Try some coming up and down this axis so that you're not shooting all the peripheral. I think that's cool. Let's cut there. Let's put one other person on the Steadicam just to change it up a bit, and then we'll change over to these other cameras. So one volunteer for the Steadicam. I mean, for the glide cam.
Yep. Rotate through this way.
Gail, a quick question from the chat room. Did you mention what lenses are being used for the different angles?
Actually, I didn't. The one we're doing at the moment is a Steadicam, which is 16 to 35, which is probably the most common lens you'd want to use unless you used a prime. So that's what we're on, a 16 to 35.
Gail, it's the most common lens just generally, or just for what we're doing, like action shots?
For the glide cam, the 16 to 35 is probably the most common lens. It gives you a range.
Okay.
It's once you've balanced it, it's balanced more or less.
Okay.
And it gives you a little bit of flexibility in terms of how wide, and because a 35 is about as tight as you want to go.
One more quick question while we're doing that is some folks in the chat room are asking about the smoke.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why we're using it, or is it just for the effect?
Oh, I don't know. It just gives a little bit of nostalgia. It'll make it look a little bit more old-fashioned. But I actually love smoke just because it creates a false sense of perspective. Things get fainter and less important the more smoke there is. So it creates a feeling, a slightly artificial feeling of depth is the reason I use it. It's rather like those Japanese watercolors that mountain ranges that get fainter and fainter and fainter. It creates artificial depth. So Okay, so let's just give ourselves a little bit of room. You can give yourself quite a little bit of room here. You can come at them. You can come and do some meeting shots with them. So if you started, say, back here and came to meet them, and again play this axis, I think it's really cool. We'll get some quite dramatic stuff and use the legs, the feet, the hands, the body movements, and. Okay, so this will be the last little piece we do on the Steadicam, and then we'll swing the. If you guys have got anything without getting the glide cam in shot, then great. But chances are probably not. Okay, so are we all ready? Okay, so let's start the music. Okay, whenever you're ready, sweetie. this angle. Now with the dancers, just play upwards, back and throw this in this direction, yeah. Okay, I think we're good. Let's cut it there. Cool. Okay. You probably need a couple of minutes, and then we'll swing the other cameras into action, and that should kind of be it. And then we can have a look at what we shot. And cool. So let's have a couple of minutes break. Do we have any more questions while our dancers avoid having a cardiac arrest?
Okay, just
I have a question. What's the difference between the DOP, the director, and the camera operator? Like,
I was wondering what you're doing.
The director's the big boss
the director
because
tells the DOP what to do.
yeah, and I tell the camera operator what to do basically.
Okay. And you
know.
kind of line up the shot and you frame it. And
More or
make it
less, but
artistic.
I tend to work the English way, which is slightly different than the American way. I mean, the English way is that the camera operator is very much part of the decision-making process, and
And so you collaborate
his
with
opinion
them.
is very valued. You know,
Yeah.
it keeps the DP honest a little bit, because DPs will tend to choose shots that are easier to light just subconsciously. You know.
Okay, so they're also in charge of lighting.
Yeah, yeah. So, director of photography is really, you're kind of in charge of the camera department, the grip department, the electrical
So I know
department.
some directors, they actually specify which shot and what type of lens is used. for
Oh,
the-
sometimes, yeah. Yeah, sometimes directors have very, very specific requests, you
So
know.
then the DOP would kind
Yeah.
of follow those requests.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. And you might often argue, or you might often suggest something that you feel would work better.
Yeah.
But it's just depends totally on the director. Some directors have very, very specific visions, you know, and other directors are more what you'd call actors directors, and are much more interested in the actor in there than what you do with the camera. And in fact, I worked with some directors who thought that the camera department was a positive hindrance.
No.
You
Get the
know,
cameras out of here.
yeah, you know, it's like if only they could just work with the actor and.
Right, okay.
You know, because they love nuance of performance, you know.
Right. So what would the preparation of a cinematographer before the day of filming be?
That's something we're going to go into
Okay.
in a big way in the next few days, how you deconstruct a script
Okay,
and all of
great.
that kind of stuff. And, you know, so we'll probably best, because that's a long
Right,
piece,
right.
you know.
Okay.
So,
Gail, I have another question I can ask you.
oh, sure.
Nada in the chat room had asked about who has the right of way as a cameraman, being in front of other cameramen in their shot if the moment requires, or everybody is kind of assigned to the positions they are working at.
I didn't understand that question. That's very obscure. Can you read that again?
Absolutely. The question is from Nada, and they just kind of like to know who has the right of way when there's several cameras working on the shot.
Yeah.
Who has the right of way?
Oh, I see. I mean, it's very specific. There's A camera, B camera, C camera. A camera has absolute priority to set up the main shot, and B camera's fishing. You know, so it's always A camera comes first, because the A camera and the DP work very closely on how a scene's going to be structured, and B camera very often is left in a situation where they just get what they can, you know, and it may or may not be used. Usually it is, because you very often, I mean, if I was doing a two-shot of you guys, there might be a sort of wider shot like this, and then a B camera would be in here doing a tighter shot of you, you know. So you'd get both things at the same time, you know, but A camera would definitely set its position and have its right of way first, as a right of passage, you know.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
We have more questions if we want to keep going.
Oh, sure,
with
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Okay, great. Question from VMC. Does Gail expose for the actors or the windows, or does he do it in the middle ground and adjust in post in this situation?
Well, I'm shooting this. I mean, I'm always very careful not to kind of go too far. I love to kind of fit things on a scale. You know, if you can capture as much data as possible, that's the intent. But in fact, here I'm actually underexposing very slightly to make it look a little bit moody, so when we see it, it won't be too bright. You know, that's all. But generally, I play it fairly conservatively because I have the opportunity to do what I want with it in post. And you know, make it very dark and very moody, very contrasty, you know, shift the color, all of that stuff. But you know, a lot of this material we're shooting here should be relatively moody, you know.
I have a question from Ken Brooks, who would like to know if when would you recommend using a remote focus puller for a glide cam?
That's actually a very good question. When you're working at very low light levels, when you can afford it, and if you're attempting to do anything which comes right into a big close-up, then there's no way of doing that on a glide cam if, for example, you start at at a distance and then you want to end up in a frame like that. There's no way of doing that on a glide cam without having remote focus. So there are certain shots, I mean, you might want to go right into a tight detail of something. The glide cam in that case probably wouldn't be the best device for it, but you could do it that way with a remote focus, in which case you'd have to use the glide cam 4000 and then it's all heavier and so on and so forth. On house, we don't actually use the glide cam very much. We tend to use the steady cam with our Alexa more because we have it and it's a much more precise tool. But this is, you know, we're teaching a workshop here for, you know, impoverished filmmakers, so to speak. So slightly different set of rules, you know. Okay, how are all you guys fixed in terms of having one more round of... does anybody want to change anything up, find another angle, do something lying on the floor, on your back? I mean...
You're gonna lie on your back.
Well, yeah, I was hoping to be on a wire. Flying around.
I mean, if somebody wants to grab a wide angle and put it right on the floor, could be fun.
Not very steady.
Jason, can you give us something like, have we got did we bring a 14? No 14. What's our widest lens?
Sweat dripping off my head.
And then a 35 max.
Let's, what is it, the 24-105 or?
Just 24.
Or a prime? Oh, let's use the prime. Let's just stick that on a body and that'll hold its own focus. We'll put it on 640 at 9 or something and
Copy that.
and then we don't even need to focus it. We'll just set it on about 4 feet.
Here's what they're going to need to do. They're going to have to be able to live feed all this right now.
Really?
Yeah.
No, we'll just give them the card. No, we can't live feed all this. It's ridiculous.
All right.
So this one's just going to be a card. So
That's fine. We'll go back to, after we're done with this, we'll just sit down and kind of rewatch all the footage we haven't been able to see and people can talk about it.
yeah, absolutely.
18 to 135.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Have some fun with it. Stick it right on the ground and.
While we're doing all that stuff, just, I mean, I can kind of give it to you and you can play with it. And just see what you think.
Camera operator.
Who can we have as a volunteer to get stomped on?
Just a stranger. It gets really easy.
Or monochrome.
Yeah, go monochrome. Yeah.
Right. Okay, our sharpness. Yeah, there we go. Contrast.
Filter red.
Okay. It'd be probably good if you're on a stick or you want to go handheld.
Oh, just put it right on the ground. And
Okay. Cool.
maybe you know what could be nice with that is to shoot a real nice silhouette-y shot. Can I be a pain in the ass and pull you back? Am I allowed to say that on the air? So maybe come down here, yeah, and yeah, something like that. Let's just give you a bit more stop, so it's a bit more dramatic.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Okay. Actually, maybe move a little bit that way. So that's try not to come too far around, because otherwise you'll be all over this shot. And have you got a clean shot there by going around that way?
We got nice bottom shots.
Oh, okay. And then I'd set that on about. Where are we, focus-wise? Yeah, about there. That should be good, yeah. Great, okay. So is everyone ready? This should be the last blast we do on this. I think we shot some quite nice stuff. But we'll soon see, otherwise I'll be on the plane home tonight.
Everyone ready to go?
Okay, cool.
All right, want to cue the music?
Yep. Is everybody rolling? Just hold a bit more of their heads. Yeah, that's lovely. Why don't just come out from the corner for a sec? Just allow everyone to get something clean for a second with the glide cam, yeah. Yeah, one last little run. We're almost there. Such a pain in the ass, this thing.
It's the best shot.
Sorry?
I like that shot.
I
My
know.
favorite one.
Yeah, I think that's great. Okay, and cut it. Cool. What about a round of applause for our wonderful dancers?